We are live today with Mr. Tom Morey. This is Patty Serrano behind the scenes. I've got Tom on the line, and we're going to go over just a few things. Let's first of all say hi to Tom. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing fine, and the music's kind of interesting.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to talk a little bit, I'm going to ask you a couple questions today about what's coming up next in your life. But before we do, I want to just explain to everybody, for the record, that the citizen journalist idea came from a moment in time when Tom and I were talking about, well, what's next? And because he has so many ideas in his brain that we have to get out here, what better way than to put it on a podcast or a video cast and record it for in perpetuity, so it will last forever, rather than try to write it down and just have it on a scribbly paper. So we're going to take it in three parts, Tom. We're going to take it in what's next for you personally, what's next for what you think is happening in the ocean world, and then the last part we'll talk about what do you think's next in the entire world. So let's start out with what's next for Tom Morey personally.
So I'm not going to be traveling. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time on any one thing, because there's going to be all these interruptions in my life. So I'm endeavoring to get in place. It's a big deal. Exactly, or more or less, what to drink and when, how long it takes to go down and become part of me. What to eat, same thing. And breathing, I've sort of given up on trying to change anything there. That's a pattern that's been going on for a long time, works pretty darn good. Then there's the whole thing of keeping your body in shape, exercising. And there's the option of how to fine-tune, how to use the different energies. And finally, how to fine-tune my breathing, my speech, to figure out what the proper word, not just the words I usually use, what the proper words are and the proper controls of volume as I speak and so forth. So I'm trying to gain more control of my machine here and my surroundings. So that's what I'm working on.
Well, that's awesome. It sounds like that's a real personal touch to your personal life, and it gives a lot of people that are getting up there in years like myself inspiration, to pay attention to that. Now, what about as you see the ocean? You've been around the ocean all your life.
Yeah.
What do you think's next? Just in either ocean wave riding vehicles, the ocean, whatever.
Okay. The ocean, we've had the chance to explore surfing through the boards and the redwood balsas and plywood covered foam from what's his name, and then foam fiberglass, and then this whole next generation of using these flexible foams, polyethylene and polypropylene. And we made the soft surfboard, and then putting a stringer in that thing, and how many stringers and the things that you can do that you couldn't do before because the board didn't have any torsional flex. So that's been added to surfing, as has multiple skins, multiple skags, and textures, cross-cutting on shallow grooves on the bottoms to give it a little bit of freedom. So texturing the running surfaces, and then paying closer attention to the surface areas, the surface textures, and then along has come just in one kind of thrust is the flexible hull with the Boogie board, and that overlapped into the flexible hulls of our soft surfboards, and we made one, called it Doyle, because we popularized Doyle, who then came up with a major change that recognized that we could just put one rigid stringer in the board and use flexible foam and get by. And we found from writing it that you can more than get by. You get torsional spring, which didn't exist in the regular hardboards. So these are interesting starting points for the future. There are more points that we can make on that topic, though.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we only have a few more minutes. In fact, we've kind of gone over already what I set to do today, but that's okay, because why don't we just leave you with what's next, what you think in your mind for the world? What do you think is going to happen to the world now?
Well, everything that's possible is going to be happening, and there's going to be this major thrusts that go on, which are, let's try and get everybody to do things our way. So let's get the world to be a democratic world. The other guys are going, let's let it be a dictatorships, one or communism. So there's these various isms, and the world is a mess, but it's a pretty interesting mess, and it's been a great mess. And so the trends are going to continue, and each is going to merge with the next, basically, a little.
Mm-hmm.
As to the ocean, there are major movements to collect all the trash and build things up. And then there's the other discoveries of how deep these trenches are, how deep the ocean is, and how it's got volcanic activity that can be burning the trash. And then there's radioactive parts down deep in there. So we're still in a major discovery mode on everything.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess we always will be, because we're always evolving. Well, Tom,
Right.
We've ran out of time, but I really want to thank you for coming in. This is a first part. For those of you that are watching, this is one of the first parts of What's Next with Tom. What's Next, Morey, we're calling it. So even though we just tapped into a few things today, we've got a lot to tap into.
This is fun. This is fun, Patty. Thank you for
It's totally
including
fun. And I want to tell everybody that if up on the screen you see our blog, which is the Citizen Journalist .blogspot.com, and we have a series of people that have come in to offer up their ideas and thoughts. We've got Debbie Caldwell with her Staycations California. We have Jean Fiera in New York doing his city magazine and all that's going on in a podcast back in New York. Tony Prince has come in with his unbelievable photography and videography. We have Tyrone Perez, who is also with the media services. So go over and visit the citizenjournalist.blogspot. You'll see some of Tom's videos. You'll see these future videos with What's Next with Morey. Patty Serrano, of course, has a page over there. And we will see and talk to you on our next episode.